All right, welcome back. Today I'm going to look at the Spice Girls. Just doing some fairly simple and basic investigation of their actual sex. Remember to look at the bone structure. A lot of these bands that have the word girls or sisters or something are actually boys. That's part of the joke, right? Look at the shape of the torso, especially the hips. Attempts to deceive the shape of their body, right? The shoulder to hip ratio, the long, slender, rectangular shaped torso. And here it says to become one. Well, I guess that could mean a number of things depending on what you're trying to say. So what are the Spice Girls trying to say? To become one. Male and female into one body. Is that possibly what's going on here? Now, this is one of the most obvious ones in the entire mass media industrial complex. Now, this one does have muscle development. Most secret trans alchemists in the mass media try to keep their muscle development in control. To a lot of people out there, they'll be like, oh, well, that looks like a man because of the muscles. And if you don't have muscles, that means you're not a man, right? Well, it's not as simple as that. Look at the hips there, all right? Those are straight up and down hip, torso, and shoulders. A little bit of symbolism going on there, perhaps, telling us what's going on, right? Telling us the truth, using symbols, because that's what they do. But people don't understand the symbolic language, and people want to believe the lie. We're deceived because we want to be deceived. We choose to be deceived. Look at the chest muscles coming into the arm. Just a male feature, very masculine, that one there. So very easy, very obvious. I'm just putting this simple stuff out there for the trolls and the shills and the brainwashed masses. Just you might want to question the true identity of some of these celebrities. Again, lean muscle mass, low body fat, skin and bones. Is that a man or a woman? You may say, well, that's an anorexic celebrity. Well, no, all these anorexic celebrities are men starving themselves to try to appear feminine. So this one is not bulked up and full of muscles, but it's still a man because it's trying as hard as it can to appear female. Not doing a very good job. Kind of smooth and shiny. They wash this one before it steps outside. Crossing the legs. Why? To try to give it a Q angle female hip and leg appearance. To try to fake the feminine curves. Right, it's got this huge, massive skull, male forehead, male cheekbones, male shoulders, fake breasts, right? I usually don't even need to mention the fake breasts. I think everyone knows that fake breasts are a very common procedure in the transsexual community. Oh, Simon Cowell. Anyone within 3 feet of Simon Cowell, you must question their true identity. It's just the way it is, all right? Okay, now this one, not as obvious, but the large head, right? Again, forehead, cheekbones, jaw. It's not easy to speak to people who are brainwashed, undergoing cognitive dissonance, hand on the hips. Why is it bending the body like that? To deceive us, to conceal the true nature. Now, this one's a little soft and puffy, so it's harder to spot. All right, now again, we have the hard, shiny skull. Feminized, okay, it's a feminized male head. So a lot of these people were probably handsome men. They probably would have looked like handsome men if they didn't undergo the facial feminization surgery. So they have a feminine version of their handsome male face, so it kind of looks like some kind of pretty girl or something, apparently, and that's what they're trying to sell us. They're handsome men that have been feminized, so they look like pretty girls, all right? Again, straight up and down torso, no female hips, large tranny head, obvious signs of some kind of cosmetic surgery, and it happens to be called FFS, a bit of tranny jargon there for you. Head and shoulders, skull and bones, fake breasts, fashionable clothes. That tall one's very obvious, right? So at least, the very bare minimum, you got to admit that's a man, right? And then at least you can question the others. Again, look at the hip to shoulder ratio on the one on the left. Victoria Beckham's pretty obvious. You should know about that one already by now. The black one's pretty obvious. The one in the middle is obvious. The only ones that I could see that could fool people would be that kind of blonde one on the purple there, giving us the sign. Victoria Beckham, very obvious there with those shoulders. It's just a tranny drag show, tranny hookers. It's a tranny cabaret show, all right? Come on, look at the one on the left. Do I even need to say anything? It's not my job to wake people up. If you want to remain deceived, you have the right. Yeah, talk about a male torso and a person trying to achieve a curve by contorting the body. They all got the hand in the hips. One has hand in the pockets. Look at that torso there in the red pants. That's a male torso. Long, slender torso. No hips at all. No hips, except for the male hips. Males do have hips, but they're very narrow. All right, it's the hip to shoulder ratio, hip to waist ratio. It's ratios. It's geometry, just as the Freemasons like it. Those are S&M drag queens. Look at those shoulders, those hips, the attempts to fake curves, the attempts to fake femininity. They're female illusionists, although this one here seems to have just given up and said, hey, look, I'm a dude. Let's just throw it in their face because it's a secret, giving us a sign. And they're so dumb that they're not even going to accept it or believe it because people have pride, because we don't want to admit we've been deceived. That's why we're so easily deceived. It's the same old thing. It's deception, all right? The theme of deception is consistent throughout the Bible. It starts out with deception. It keeps going throughout the entire Bible into biblical prophecy that hasn't even happened yet in our lifetime. It will happen in the future at some point. There will be even more deception, but there's deception now. And even if you figured out some of the deception, there's even more deception than that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called deception. There's deception going on right now. We are all deceived about something. There are known unknowns, there are unknown unknowns, and there are trannies. Hard to believe, I know. I'm just some YouTuber. You think, oh, it's just one of these conspiracy YouTubers, right? Well, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, actually. I don't watch conspiracy theory videos. I research things. I look at facts. I analyze data. I read. All right? This is not a conspiracy channel. Well, if the Spice Girls are a bunch of drag queens, it kind of makes you wonder how many more are out there.